This is QTV News, the headlines. Patriotic Front members from 7 constituencies in Lusaka have rebelled against 4 of their members of parliament for plotting to disrupt the planned intra-party elections. Mines Minister Richard Musuko has directed that no blasting should be undertaken at the Black Mountain after the mining company left houses in Kitwe cracked due to explosives used in blasting the slag dump. With the news in detail, my name is Machamanda. Patriotic Front members from 7 constituencies in Lusaka have rebelled against 4 of their members of parliament for plotting to disrupt the planned intra-party elections. Leading the group at the party secretariat in Lusaka, Munali constituency chairperson Forbes Mufwaya has disclosed that Mandevu Member of Parliament Jean Kapata, Chawama Member of Parliament Lawrence Chalwe, Kabwata MP Given Luwinda, and Munali MP Professor Nkanduluo have been having dark corner meetings at Mr. Luwinda's residence, plotting to disrupt the intra-party elections. And the PF Secretary General Davis Mwila says the party is premised on democratic tendencies, adding that intra-party elections will go on. He says no member is bigger than the party, saying that it is wrong for the members of parliament to be having dark corner meetings. He explains that he will therefore present the petition to President Lungu, who will likely institute a central committee meeting for the members of parliament to exculpate themselves. Details in the following report.
Despite these dances, these supporters from 7 constituencies of the ruling Patriotic Front in Lusaka were at their party secretariat to express their displeasure against some of their members of parliament for having dark corner meetings aimed at disrupting planned intra-party elections of all structures in the party. This group, led by Munali constituency chairperson Forbes Mufwaya, has disclosed that Kabwata Member of Parliament Given Luwinda has been hosting dark corner meetings at his residence together with Mandevu MP Jean Kapata, Munali MP Professor Nkanduluo, and Chawama MP Lawrence Chalwe.
We are shocked that some of your colleagues in the Central Committee are holding dark corner clandestine meetings for their own selfish motives. Mr. Secretary General, sir, these people have an agenda to disrupt the ongoing elections because the agenda of imposing their preferred stooges has lamentably failed. Yes. The main culprits driving this agenda, sir, are Honorable Given Luwinda of Kabwata constituency, Professor Nkanduluo of Munali constituency, and Honorable Jean Kapata of Mandevu constituency. There are other MPs in Lusaka district who are also being co-opted by the trio to push for the cancellation of these intra-party elections, which have so far gone on very, very well.
The petition has been received by the party's top leadership. Party Secretary General Davis Mwila has vowed to pursue the matter and take it further to President Edgar Lungu. He explains that the 4 will be given time to exculpate themselves.
I want to welcome all of you to the Secretariat. I have received the petition from the spokesperson, the chairperson from Munali. I've heard all the complaints. When it comes to voting for the people in offices, it is the people to decide. No one has the right to impose. So the lower organs must be allowed to choose the leaders they want. But I want to assure you that no one will interfere in these elections. Elections is about the people, not individuals. So we will ensure that we strengthen the party by hearing from what the grassroots are telling us. So that is the message. I am going to deliver this message to the president of the party.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mwila has maintained that the ruling party wants a locally driven dialogue process, but reiterates that it is the preserve of the Zambia Center for Interparty Dialogue, ZCID, to determine whether or not the church should take a center stage in the process.
First, it was formed by political parties. Are you getting me? Yes. This is our baby. We formed this ZCID specifically for us. If there is any problem in the nation, we'll be able to come and share ideas or iron out all the differences that we have in the nation. So what we are saying, us as Patriotic Front, we have confidence in ZCID to spearhead this process. But ZCID has a right to incorporate the church. That's what we are saying. They have a right. It's up to them to make a decision, not anyone. So the appeal, the president what said, it was just an appeal to ZCID that can you incorporate the church.
For QTV News, I'm Alfred Mwansa.
Mines Minister Richard Musukwa has directed that no blasting should be undertaken at the Black Mountain after mining companies left houses in Nkano West in Kitwe cracked due to explosives used in blasting the slag dump. Mr. Musukwa has also directed the holder of the license at the site to take full control in terms of operation and direction and supervision of mine operation as provided for under the Mines and Regulations Act. Speaking at a joint media briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Musukwa says the mining manager should ensure that statutory requirements are duly complied with and that no further blast must be undertaken without supervision of the Director of Mines. He has refuted earlier reports that the blast was undertaken by the small-scale miners themselves, saying the blast was undertaken by a professional competent company which was hired by Chapamo Group of companies. Mr. Musukwa says government is investigating all the circumstances that led to the blast of the Black Mountain that left their houses cracked.
So in brief, in terms of where we are sitting, I think that one cardinal issue that we'd like to address is also the timing in terms of the operation. Government, through the Director of Mine Safety, has directed that the operation will start at 05:30 and finish at 17:45. In short, we don't expect anyone to be on site before or after that time, and we are asking that the security services be increased in order to ensure that we have total control in terms of what's happening at the site. And last but not least, we have directed that all the 7 companies must ensure that all their employees must have proper personal protective equipment. That is, they must have a work suit, they must have boots, and they must have a helmet. And these are the issues that we are going to ensure that we check once our team goes on site. Further, we have also reinforced as government the authority that is vested in the mine manager in terms of operation, that all airing companies, whatsoever their status is on the slag dump, will be penalized if they do not follow the safety rules as stipulated and outlined in the provision. And I have further directed my director that if the mine manager who has been appointed does not live to the standard practice that is supposed to be enhanced at the mine site, he will be...
And Chapamo Chairman Nicodemus Kalobo has assured government that the company will not go away from the guidance that have been given to them under the Mines and Regulations Act. Mr. Kalobo has since assured all the affected houses that Chapamo Minerals Processing Company will repair all the damages caused and has since engaged the company which was contracted to explain why they allowed the blasts to take place. And speaking earlier, Chapamo Minerals Processing Company shareholder Shaus Fawaz has condemned what he termed a big mining company to stop blaming them, but should ensure that they help grow the mining sector, that no one is immune to accidents.
So going forward, we are very much ready to abide by the mine regulations, rules, and I want to assure everyone that we are operating under the supervision of Ministry of Mines, and we will not go away from this guidance that they've given us. So, as in the operations at the mine, we have nothing to complain about. We are working as one, just as the name, Chapamo. Everything is going on well, just that the blast that happened, which the company we hired to do the blast did that. So we have also called the same company to explain to us why it happened like that, because
Ron, Member of Parliament Chishimba Kambwili, says he is going to appeal against the Constitutional Court ruling refusing to join him and Mazabuka Member of Parliament Gary Nkombo to the judicial review proceedings challenging the Speaker's decision to entertain the impeachment motion. Last week, the court refused to join the duo on grounds that they, despite being the movers of the motion, do not have sufficient interest to warrant them being joined. Mr. Kambwili says he is going to appeal against the Concord decision because there is so much need for the president's impeachment due to so much thieving which has characterized the country under his administration. Meanwhile, Mr. Kambwili says it is pleasing that President Edgar Lungu has seen sense in the church to lead the dialogue process. He says the church is better placed to lead the process, unlike having a few individuals from some political parties under the Zambia Center for Interparty Dialogue, ZCID, to lead the process when they have political interests.
Being a lawyer has become so lucrative that you can go to court once and ask for 5 million. What is this? 5 million of costs. I think I should enroll also to become a lawyer. Mosho is claiming 5 million in costs for going to court one day. I should also become a lawyer. You can be rich. 5 million in one day. Yeah, certainly we are going to appeal to. I should be meeting my colleague, Honorable Nkombo, today or tomorrow, and we should be meeting our legal team.
And the National Democratic Congress NDC consultant says the party is yet to decide on who to field as a mayoral candidate in Lusaka. He says the party, through the Secretary General, will announce their candidate in due course. Meanwhile, the Ron MP has appeared in Lusaka Magistrate Court for mention in the matter. He is charged with 36 counts of being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. The matter comes up on the 5th of June 2018 for commencement of trial. The matter was before Magistrate Mwaka Minkalile. Former Zambia Congress of Trade Unions (ZCTU) President Leonard Hikaumba has urged government to engage labor unions on how best the National Health Insurance Act can be implemented in all sectors. Mr. Hikaumba states that this is not a law that is cast on stone, but there is room for amendments if need be after labor unions state what ought to be included and which ministry can be in charge of the act. Mr. Hikaumba notes that the reasons from the labor unions regarding the NHI Act, which was recently passed, are clear and can be resolved through engagement. He explains that the labor unions have made it clear that they were not consulted and that they are not comfortable with the act being under the Ministry of Health when it will have more to do with workers. He is therefore optimistic that government will consider addressing the concerns raised by the labor unions for the implementation of the act to be effective and successful.
The Ministry of Health is not the rightful ministry to spearhead this health insurance. They think it's a labor issue which should sit
with the Ministry of Labor. So looking at this, it shows me that they are not against the principle of introducing the health insurance, which is quite a positive aspect. Now, if they are not against, what I would urge government probably is to engage the unions, find out what is it in the Health Insurance Act which they do not agree with. Law is not cast on stone. It's something that can be amended. And so if the unions have got a point, there are certain things in the Health Insurance Act which are not so positive and which are not adequately covered, they can engage the unions, and at an appropriate time, these provisions, if they were omitted, they can be put in place. If there are provisions that are not good enough, they can be removed. If there are provisions that need to be amended, these can be amended. I don't think that is really a big problem. And on the ministry that should spearhead this, or where the law should sit, I think it's also another.
A detective inspector at Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe Police Station, Patrick Changwe, has narrated in the Lusaka High Court that he found Precious' body lying in a pool of blood with 3 cartridges 1.5 meters from her body. He further narrated that Precious' body was found 50 meters from Anshinka Kaputo's house with car keys in her hand. In this matter, Lusaka businessman Anshinka Kaputo is charged with 2 counts of murdering his girlfriend Precious Manganesa and acts intended to cause grievous harm. Kaputo, 34, is alleged to have shot dead Mangesana, a multi-choice employee, on October 5th last year. When the matter came up for continuation of trial before Lady Justice Catherine Piri on Monday, the state made an application to visit the scene of the crime. Once at the scene of the crime, Changwe narrated that when he arrived at the scene on the fateful night, the deceased was lying lifelessly on her right side with her face covered in blood. Changwe narrated that after searching the scene, he discovered 3 cartridges approximately 1.5 meters from the deceased body. Changwe further narrated that Precious was holding her car keys and had a gunshot wound on her neck. He said after inspecting the body, was then transferred to UTH and asked by the Nshika's defense lawyers where the deceased vehicle was at, as it was not at the scene. When testifying, Changwe explained that the vehicle had already been handed over and that it was not necessary to have the vehicle at the scene because the photographs were available. Asked why he didn't preserve the scene till the morning to carry out inspections, Changwe said there was enough light to carry out his inspection. Asked whether he was aware that there was a child who was also hurt, Changwe said he was not aware, and he added that the accused was also not at the scene on the fateful night. Meanwhile, Justice Piri adjourned the matter to May 31st, 2018 for continued cross-examination of the witnesses. Mwinilonga UPND Member of Parliament Newton Samakai has accused the Patriotic Front of buying councillors in order to suffocate the opposition. Mr. Samakai says it is a shame that the ruling party has been buying off councillors to defect to the party, saying this kind of politics should be discouraged. Mr. Samakai says one of the councillors who have defected from the UPND from Zambezi West and 2 are from his constituency. He adds that the defections of these councillors means that there will be 2 by-elections in his constituency, which will be very costly.
Trying to build the image by buying councillors, and all this is coming from the fact that the constitution requires that for one to stand as a councillor must have a grade 12. You would agree with me that many of the councillors that were voted in the last election, some of them were just graduating from high schools. And these are people that are looking for jobs. So they are quite vulnerable when the party in government comes with the promises of jobs and also dangling cash to them. Trying to build
That item concludes our news, but before we go, here is a recap of stories in the headlines. Patriotic Front members from 7 constituencies in Lusaka have rebelled against 4 of their members of parliament for plotting to disrupt the planned intra-party elections. Mines Minister Richard Musukwa has directed that no blasting should be undertaken at the Black Mountain after the mining company left houses in Kitwe cracked due to explosives used in blasting the slag dump. That's all we had for you in the news. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye. Continue watching QTV.